أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي أشدد في أمري أشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك إنه لا يذل من وليت ولا يعز من عاديت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت لك الشكر على ما أعطيت نستغفرك اللهم من جميع الذنوب والخطايا ونتوب إليك. O Allah, guide us among those you guide. Grant us health and pardon among those you grant health and pardon. Look after us among those you look after. Grant us grace in what you have given us and protect us from the evil of what you have ordained. For you decree and none decrees against you, and none is abased whom you befriend, and none is exalted whom you are at enmity with. O our Lord, who is above all things sacred and exalted, all praise is yours for what you decree. We ask your forgiveness and turn to you in repentance. Amen. وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Happy Saturday. Inshallah, everyone is doing wonderful. So we are going to continue on today with the 9th word, which we started a couple of weeks ago, which is really an expounding on the verse from the Quran, chapter 30, verse 17 to 18. And it goes as follows. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate. So glorify God when you reach evening and when you rise in the morning, for all praise is His in the heavens.
Are we doing the 10th word?
And on earth. I think we are doing the 10th word. Thank you for correcting that. So yeah, the 10th word is on resurrection and the hereafter, excuse me. So it's again the same piece from the Quran, but this time we're focusing on verse number 50. So it goes as, in the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Look then to the signs of God's mercy, how He restores life to the earth after its death. Verily, it is He who quickens the dead, for He is powerful over all things. So this is on page 59, the 10th word, which is on resurrection and the hereafter. So today we're going to proceed with the 5th aspect. And last week, we covered some interesting point in terms of how the universe is set up, in terms of we see different qualities manifested in it, and our human side doesn't really get satiated or satisfied to its full potential. And so there definitely must be another type of existence where all our human qualities must be satisfied. So that's just like a really brief takeaway in a nutshell. Inshallah, we will proceed today from the 5th aspect. And Mariam and Rayan, when you're ready, please begin. Thank you.
I hope everyone's doing good. So I'm going to read the 5th aspect. See, it is evident from all these matters that peerless being is possessed of most great mercy, for He causes aid to be swiftly extended to every victim of misfortune, answers every question and petition, and mercifully fulfills even the lowliest need of His lowliest subject. If, for example, the foot of some herdsman's sheep should hurt, He either provides some medicine or sends a veterinarian.
Come now, let us go. There is a great meeting on that island. All the nobles of the land are assembled there. See, a most noble commander, bearing exalted decorations, is pronouncing a discourse and requesting certain things from that compassionate monarch. All those present say, yes, we too desire the same, and affirm and assent to his words. Now listen to the words of that commander favored by his monarch.
O monarch, that nurtures us with his bounty, show us the source and origin of these examples and shadows you have shown us. Draw us nigh to your seat of rule. Do not let us perish in these deserts. Take us into your presence and have mercy on us. Feed us there on the delicious bounty you have caused us to taste here. Do not torment us with desperation and banishment. Do not leave your yearning, thankful, and obedient subjects to their own devices. Do not cause them to be annihilated. Do you not hear him thus supplicating? Is it at all possible that so merciful and powerful a monarch should not totally fulfill the finest and highest aim of his most beloved and noble commander?
Moreover, the purpose of that commander is the purpose of all men, and its fulfillment is required by the pleasure, the compassion, and the justice of the king, and it is a matter of ease for him, not difficulty, causing him less difficulty than the transient places of enjoyment contained in the hospice of the world. Having spent so much effort on these places of witnessing that will last only 5 or 6 days, and on the foundation of this kingdom, is in order to demonstrate instances of his power, he will, without doubt, display at his seat of rule true treasures, perfections, and skills in such a manner, and open before us such spectacles that our intellects will be astonished.
Those sent to this field of trial will not then be left to their own devices. Palaces of bliss or dungeons await them.
Thank you, Mariam and Ryan, for this interesting read. Would you want to share out some immediate takeaways on your end? Anything that attracted your attention? Perhaps we can have a focus of discussion around it, or any questions that may pop in, feel free to share out.
So I kind of caught my attention when it started the paragraph, "O monarch that nurtures us with his bounty," like kind of that whole paragraph. It was pretty interesting because they were kind of like, I don't know, to me it kind of felt like kind of like requests or something, and they're saying that that they're like noble and all that. So that's kind of what I took away. Like, just caught my attention like that.
Yeah, so like in the next paragraph after it says is, moreover, the purpose of the commander is the purpose of all men, and its fulfillment is required by the pleasure, the compassion, and the justice of the king. And it is a matter of ease for him, not difficulty, causing him less difficulty than the transient places of enjoyment contained in the hospice of the world. So basically, that means like the commander is the one that is like, helping out, and all like everyone just depends on him.
Thank you so much both for sharing this piece. So I'm going to start with Mariam's comment about feeling like royalty. When we look into these kind of words, yeah, that makes us feel special. So you know how we always use that analogy of we are in this guest house of the universe, and definitely there must be a one hosting us, and whoever is hosting us now seems to be like a royal king, and all I'm doing here is an amazement of all the bounties that are displayed for me, all the really even goodness that we interact with, delicious food, fruit, anything, sunlight, little pets. So it seems that definitely this also caught my attention in terms of how can I not see how amazingly I'm being treated here like a royal guest. And so this royal host definitely is nurturing us with all his bounty. And we're just utilizing his bounty. It's given to us. We're just consumers, right? I'm not the owner of it. So that was a good piece for bringing us to our attention, because a lot of time I get caught up in, oh yeah, that's mine, that's my doing. Oh, guess what? That's, I pat myself in the back. Oh, good job, Fariha. A nice essay writing, great. Or good job, Fariha, nice setup of, I don't know, if you make something like a fruit salad or something, and all I'm doing is just taking things that are in existence available and just mixing them up. So really, what am I claiming ownership over? But so that was an interesting piece. And what Rayan also mentioned about the purpose of that commander is the purpose of all men. I think that can be an area of discussion for all of us. But before we do that, let me see if there's anyone else here on the chat who would want to share anything that you took away or something that's striking to you. Feel free to do that so we can all look into it together. Oh, go ahead, yes. Hi.
Thank you for all the beautiful introductions. So the thing is, we are studying a little bit about getting our mindset. What is this fifth aspect about? And the author kind of is introducing us to what our nature, what our human side is looking for as well. And we see, yes, we are treated like royalty, as Mariam and Fariha kind of pointed out. That is beautiful, and that is, we see that it's in our observation when we observe cautiously, carefully, and in the right mindset, openly, not when we are just heedless or not just ignoring the fact that we are created beings, that we have an owner. And in that mindset, we do realize the beauty that, hey, I don't exist by myself. The things I'm getting, they don't have any quality to be training me or making me enjoy them. So there must be some source behind it. And as the previous aspect was talking about eternal beauty, so all the qualities that I see show me the signs of eternity, that whoever is showing me these things that I'm enjoying, that I'm being treated as royalty, but why am I still a guest here in this place? I'm a guest. We've seen that, we've said that a few times, but there is that part of the eternal beauty, eternal perfection. And when I understanding that whoever is showing me this beauty must be the one who possesses infinite perfection, infinite beauty, it awakens my desire, hey, there is some notion of this permanence, and there is this notion of eternal beauty. And this verse was amazing, that eternal beauty can never be content with a transient admirer. And that's why an admirer destined to perish without hope of return will find his love turning to enmity whenever he imagines his death. So there is this need that, hey, this life is not the only life. This enjoyment is not only partial, it's not just momentary, but there must be an eternal side for these perfections, for this beauty, for this justice. There must be whatever is happening, whatever is going for must be accounted for. And this transient is not really satisfactory to me. This transient world, this transient enjoyment. But I get through this enjoyment, I get to know that there is a permanent one. There is an eternal one. And I get to reflect on that eternal aspect, that, hey, these qualities are coming from him. And within myself, I say, hey, yeah, I need these qualities as well. I want to, not the same quality, but in terms of the qualities that I'm enjoying myself, I want to continue enjoying them. I just don't want to let them go. They just, my existence, I want to keep the existence. It's something that I enjoy, that I learn from.
Thank you, Asim, for bringing these very important points that target the really purpose of this discussion, and this 10th word that the author is really introducing to us. Again, those of you who join us in, we are reading the 10th word, and we are currently on page 62. And going back to the verse, look then to the signs of God's mercy, how he restores life to the earth after its death. Verily, he it is who quickens the dead, for he's powerful over all things. So keyword here, death. I mean, that's a reality that no one can deny. We are always living with it, but how much am I aware of that big elephant in the room is really the question. Otherwise, I can go on and yet get lost with just the amazement of in this universe, but I need to take a pause and recognize that, whoa, wait a minute. Whoever this owner is, whoever I conclude to be my source of existence and the one that's providing everything must be an infinite source or an eternal one. So just like the mentioning of eternal beauty, which we covered last time, keyword eternal, keyword absolute, keyword infinite, as in unending, because clearly all of us can very much easily observe, even like a 3 years old, a 5 years old can observe that the transient nature of this universe does not satisfy the human being. Again, the transient here presented to me does not satisfy me. And so that becomes also like a trigger point for me to look for a one that can satisfy me eternally. And so when I conclude the royal king or the monarch to be an eternal one, then that gives me a little comfort that he must be the one to satisfy all my needs eternally. Because it is in human nature that we appreciate things. And so the one who's demonstrating all this art, bounties, and everything else to us, definitely an artist would not make art if it's not for the purpose of the audience to appreciate it, right? Otherwise, that defeats the purpose of the art. So going back to how we are made in a way to appreciate art, and then we're given these endless potentiality to really appreciate all the qualities that are manifested, and they are unending. It's not that it stops. Whatever we concluded yesterday, the sunrise, the sunset, or all the delicious bounties that you interacted with, they're all gone. Where are they? Somebody may say, yeah, in the grave of your stomach. Yeah, of course. But if we like think more into like the nature of this transience, where I'm continuously, constantly experiencing the state of being where I definitely experience transient moment, but my heart is not satisfied with the transient things, is not satisfied with the transient nature of things. Even the qualities that are manifested, it seems that they're like a sample, but I desire the absoluteness of it, or my potentialities or human qualities desire to experience these qualities, these bounties infinitely. Like we can imagine how the ocean is vast, is infinite. So same thing, we experience that here. So, and that's what we desire. And so there must be an eternal source of existence of all the qualities that I experience here, just like how the ocean itself is vast. Otherwise, just living day to day, temporary enjoyment. Oh yeah, I'll die, maybe 30 more years by the time I'm 80. Like now, I think people's life are being extended because of technological advancements and everything. 105 years old, whatever. I was just reading something about how the human life is being a little bit extended out, but the hope doesn't matter whatever time frame we have. But I think the need for something eternal is always with us constantly. So thank you also, Asim, for contributing, because it made us refocus our discussion towards death, towards resurrection that we observe here on a temporary basis as well, with the change of seasons, change of day. And so now we can really see what is the purpose of all this, which is really the purpose of all men. So let's take a pause here and see if anyone wants to share anything. Feel free to raise your hand, put it up on the chat. It will be good to hear other thoughts and ideas on this matter. Okay.
So here in this fifth aspect, this is the phrase. So based on our observation, we see that whoever is organizing the universe shows signs of great mercy, the most great mercy. Because there's as we go along these stages, we do see all these qualities, and we did say that, hey, you know, we're moment to moment we lose them, but it's necessary that man should go towards an eternal realm where he will contemplate the divine beauty and perfection. So here also it is evident from all the matters that the peerless possesses, you know, observe this, look at it, find this, is this conformable, that what you see outside, that it shows that whoever is organizing the universe, your life, your body, whatever is going on inside your body, everything is arranged. Does that show signs of great mercy? So do we want to connect with that source of mercy? For he causes aid to be swiftly extended to every victim of misfortune, answers every question and petition, and mercifully fulfills even the lowliest needs of his lowliest subjects. So no matter what you say, whatever is going on in the universe, each and every, nothing is pretty much left to its own devices. Everything is taken care of and is covered by that most great mercy. And an example is used, you know, if some, you know, let's say you have a pet and something happens to your pet, and of course you will take that pet to a veterinarian or a doctor or whatever to get, or maybe, you know, you might tie or give something for the pet to get better. And all that is within the order of the universe. All that arrangement is provided based on the existence given to us, based on our understanding, based on our need for health, based on our need for perfection, for beauty. All that is provided by the most merciful one.
It's interesting that the author is walking us through how we can utilize the universe, how we can utilize our experiences as signs pointing to not only our needs, but also the qualities that are manifested here are manifested in every single created thing. Although I may take off a little fly as insignificant, but lo and behold, that little creature knows exactly where to get its nourishment, like who's teaching that fly how to do that. It's interesting also to just utilize these experiences as signs pointing to our needs as created being, where we are in need to be taken care of, we are in need of providence, nourishment, and how our needs are answered in, I would say, in a miraculous way. And like you were saying, Asim, and the author's using qualities of mercy, but we can totally expand this out a little further in terms of how we are viewing things.
So expand it out, please.
Oh, in terms of, so mercy can be more taken in terms of how things are miraculous, or expanding it out to the quality of nourishment, quality of being taken care of, quality of being protected. So definitely this one that I conclude to be absolute possess great mercy. But what does that mean for me? How do I define this mercy? Is really through the experiences that I go through, and I utilize them as signs pointing to this absolute merciful one. So it can be through feeling the sense of satiation, feeling the sense of being protected. We're provided with a shelter. There was a snowstorm back a couple of days ago. And with all these qualities, when we combine them together, it all points to this absolutely merciful one. Does anyone want to make a comment here at this juncture? Feel free to chime in, raise your hand, voice out, put a comment on the chat. I see Hatice Beza. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. Just a quick comment. Although there was a hand up before mine, but I'll be quick. What attracts my attention, or what I was thinking about, was how the samples, as you've called it, are the very aspects of this existence, of this universe, of our experiences that look to the source of that mercy. So in fact, had the vet tending to the need of a herdsman sheep, if that existence, or had there not been, or if I do not conclude that there is a source of mercy, then that act in and of itself, it becomes merciless, because I know that at the end of the day, that sheep is going to die, so is the herdsman, so is the vet. Everyone is going to perish away. Whereas very much in what seems to be the misfortune, so in the injury of the, I'm just going to stick to this example of the foot, or the hoof of the foot of the sheep, and the way in which it is tended to so mercifully. So and I can look at this across all of existence with all beings that are in need, and even my need within me to want to help, even if I don't, for example, just want to help if I know that there is, or just if I see someone in need and I'm able to help, I immediately help. And it's not something particular to me per se, but something already instilled within me. All of these look to the necessity of the source of existence of mercy. And if I don't get to that point, and I just look at, even if I look at an act that seems to be merciful, like a mother tending to its baby, but if I don't conclude that source, the necessity of the hereafter, as in the necessity of the source of mercy, and my need and desire for eternity, then that act in and of itself becomes so ugly, and so it becomes ugly and undesirable. It becomes a punishment. It becomes a tragedy for me, because even though it's a beautiful thing, when I see a mother tending to its baby, it reminds me, hey, you're all going into annihilation, into non-existence. So that was one aspect that stood out to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Hatice Beza. That was a good reflection and comment, because only through these experiences and being able to connect the qualities and the feelings that are imparted onto us to a source not of the nature of this universe, an absolute source, that my human side will find satisfaction in existence here. Otherwise, like you said, things would just be futile. So anything that we see around would just be meaningless and purposeless. Yes, it may have a purpose just like within the universe, but if I'm bound to die, and if matter is producing the qualities, or if my atoms are the source of existence of love or the feeling of compassion, then yeah, it just puts the whole human condition in a very dark situation, as in a feeling of helplessness, where there's really no hope into what my future is. But if I'm able to connect everything to a source not of the nature of this universe, which we refer to as absolute, then then it's really like finding where the drop of water is coming from. You're like, oh, the source is endless, the source is infinite, like the ocean. And so making that connection brings a beam of light to my human side. And then that beam of life hopefully should make room for further growth and development to really attain a more light and then eventually connect my existence to this absolute source. All right. So there was another hand. Whoever that was, we're sorry we missed it.
Yes.
Feel free to raise your hand again. Okay. If not, then at any time, make sure to express out what you want to say. All right. So with this, then we have the following paragraph. Do you want to say some pointers on that? Your take on this, or?
Sure. Yeah. So this is introducing. It says, "Come now, let us go. There is a great meeting on that island. All the nobles of the land are assembled there." So everybody's assembled. All see a most noble commander bearing exalted decorations. So he's saying something special. Is pronouncing a discourse and requesting certain things from that compassionate monarch. All those present say, yes, we too desire the same. So this is important. We too desire the same, and affirm the assent to his words. And what are these words? And this is the beautiful part. But before that, I think let's listen to the comments from Brother Ali. Please go ahead.
I think you are just on top of the point that I was going to mention. So can you please continue? It is going very well. I don't want to interrupt. That's why I really took my hand off.
Okay, thank you, inshallah. But feel free anytime anybody wants to make any comments, share any ideas. Yeah, so we too desire the same and affirm and assent to his words. Now listen to what the words are. So these words is like something that speaks to me. It's like a prayer. It's like the way my human condition is. Oh, my Lord, oh, my source of, oh, monarch, my source of existence that nurtures us with his bounty. Show us the source and origin of these examples. So all that we are seeing are examples and shadows that are being shown to us. Draw us near to your seat of rule. So let us experience it. Draw us near to the seat of your rule, because this is something lovable. This is something we want. Do not let us perish in these deserts. Do you want to be left in a desert, or you want to go in a garden? So do not let us perish in these deserts where everything dries out and just dies away. Take us into your presence and have mercy on us. Take us into your presence, have mercy on us. Feed us there on the delicious bounty you have caused us to taste here. Do not torment us with desperation and banishment. Do not leave your yearning. Do not leave your yearning, thankful and obedient subjects to their own devices. So do not leave your yearning, the ones who desire this, thankful, who are grateful for the bounties that are being received, and obedient subjects to their own devices. Don't leave them by themselves. Do not cause them to be annihilated. Do not cause them to be annihilated. Do you not hear him thus supplicating? Isn't this what we desire also? Isn't this our supplication as well? Is it at all possible that so merciful and powerful, a monarch should not totally fulfill the finest and highest aim of his most beloved and noble commander. So obviously this is, we see as a reference to the messenger of God, the prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and what kind of example and model he's been showing us on how to be a true human being. And as a human being, this is what the human being is looking for. By observing the qualities and asking and thanking the Lord, yearning for such qualities, thankful and following, being obedient subjects, and not being self-master or being the masters of ourselves, but acknowledging that we have an owner, we have someone who is taking care of us. And we want to be the ones who want to experience that, continue that experience. So you want to add for you?
No, this is interesting. Thank you for sharing a little more expounding on this paragraph and what the author is drawing our attention to. I think it goes back to the point of we all desire eternal beauty. And we too desire the same. That's what the author is saying. So it's really asking us to check in our own personal case as well, and then see how much does it resonate with the rest of creation. And so when I do that, not only will I be connecting myself with the rest of creation, but more so that becomes a means for me then to connect with this eternal, beauteous one that we all desire and seek, because we're not here on our own devices. I felt that these are very strong, powerful usage of words here when he says, I think you highlighted it as well, do not leave your yearning. So yes, this is the human reality. I desire eternal beauty, right? That's my reality. So I shouldn't just leave it unaddressed. It needs to be addressed. Thankful and obedient subjects to their own devices. And we are also made in a way we are grateful for also all the bounties, but what am I thanking really also becomes the question. So, so definitely when I'm able to make this connection that things are coming, not from the particles themselves, not from the universe, rather they are being manifested in these objects and whatever I communicate with through an absolute source of existence, then I, then my heart starts feeling a little comfort. Otherwise, we don't want anything to be meaningless. We don't want anything to be purposeless. And it's interesting also how this paragraph ends up asking like a rhetorical question to all of us. Hey, is it all possible that such a merciful and powerful one should not totally fulfill the finest and highest aim of his most beloved and noble commander? So we can all relate, like you were saying, in this case, to ourselves. So just wanted to share these highlights. Thanks. Does anyone else has anything to share here? Any comment? Feel free to raise your hand or put it on the chat. Okay. All right. If not, then let's proceed with the following paragraph. So the following paragraph is an interesting one as well. Moreover, the purpose of that commander is the purpose of all men, and its fulfillment is required by the pleasure, the compassion, and the justice of the king. And it is a matter of ease for him not difficulty, causing him less difficulty than the transient places of enjoyment contained in the hospice of the world. It's interesting even how it starts off with in terms of really asking me, what is it that I am attributing everything that I experience to? In other words, who do I trust really? We always look for a point of support. And so in a way, it's really posing that question to all of us in terms of, so you desire eternity, yes, and so do you think the one who's making you desire this eternal beauty not able to fulfill it? I think that's the question that is being posed here. And so it's also like, this is even interesting, mashallah, this author is brilliant in terms of how he helps us answer these questions through what we observe in the universe. So they sort of become like evidences for us. So like we see how like right now we're all experiencing a winter time. Things are a little dry, barren. We may even call this lack of life in it, but inshallah, springtime would come, everything gets restored, rejuvenated. And so how do I explain this, the existence of this, how, you know, if I don't want to say transformation is happening, but the one that make us experience winter to spring, isn't it possible for such a one to also make us experience or execute all our human feelings in an eternal form that is full of satisfaction?
That's good. So this last paragraph, I think we can discuss on the purpose of that commander is the purpose of all man. Okay, that's before that. I see there's a comment from Agabe. Why does the author say less difficulty? There shouldn't be less or more in front of absolute.
Very good question, Agabe. I'm glad you brought this up. So I think it's definitely from our side. So from what I experience in creation, what I experience when I ponder over things, really, like even it could be maybe if I'm planting a seed and I'm like, oh, I'll have to water it. And then I don't question how the growth happens or how something is brought into existence. Because you know, to me, I'm laboring, so it may seem difficult. Some tasks may seem very difficult for us, and so here we're talking about existence, how things come into existence. So when we speak about an absolute one, it's always in comparison with what I observe as far as my conditions are concerned, as far as my experiences are concerned. So I say, hey, Fariha, like, you know, I find this difficulty if I'm laboring here with something, but the one that's bringing anything into existence, like spring or making a flower to blossom, that's just a matter of being it is in terms of existence. We can't even explain how existence is coming into being. So just I'm not sure if that helps, but that's what came to my mind in terms of your questions. And I don't know if you want to add something.
We can go and try to understand the paragraph. So I think that will clarify it a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, the example that, for example, the author gives the example of, you know, if you work on, let's say, a project, or you build a house that's only for 5 days, why would you put all that effort and energy and get whoever is going to entertain only for 5 days? You know, like this universe, 5 or 6 days is this time frame that we're given. It's just like an example, or to put things into perspective, compared to eternity, what is, no matter 1,000 million days, compared to eternity, what is that? It's just a few seconds, maybe a few minute thing. So whatever we understand from this universe, our life here, is all just the area, field of trial, as the author says, field of trial, and we are just witnessing different things. These are all we are enjoying, but they're all transient. We realize that also. So whoever's building all this, putting me in this arena of trial, is telling me something.
Mhm.
And the verse, the supplication above, the paragraph above, tells me also, hey, this is exactly what my human side is looking for. I want to be in the presence of those absolute qualities. And from what I see, when I look at this universe, everything is working. And the example, Edgebase I gave earlier about that sheep and getting hurt, the whole, even that sheep is taken care of. The plant is taken care of. The insects are taken care of. Everything is being taken care of. So it tells me about who this owner is, who is the source behind all this. And I want to be close to him. I'm yearning for him. I'm thankful for all that is being provided. And I want to be obedient in terms of I recognize him. I want to know that whatever that I'm doing, whatever I'm thinking, saying, whatever I am learning is through him. It is through the qualities that I'm being exposed to, which are his qualities. So the purpose of that commander, is that the purpose of all men? Or can I say, hey, my purpose is something, but there's like worldly purpose, and then there's this human existential, what the reality of human being is. I may be the president of the country, but that doesn't, and my purpose is to serve the country, but that's just a worldly professional service I'm doing. The true purpose of man is to actually learn who the owner is and recognize the qualities that belong to him, realize what my position is and what my needs are, which are given again by him, in order so that I can look for him, so I can yearn for him. If I've conditioned myself to not have these desires of all these mercifulness, beauty, compassion, generosity, justice, then that's a different story. But this is who, as a human being, I am.
Thank you. So this was beautiful. And so I think Brother Ali has his thumb up. Yeah, we don't see it. But yeah, whoever wants to speak, sorry about that. Go ahead, please.
If you don't see it, it means because I am co-host, maybe. Yeah, you don't have to make me co-host. Just, yeah. So, it's everything is mentioned actually. What is written in the fifth aspect, but I wanted to emphasize one point. Human beings, as we are here, we have two sources of information. One is outside world, the other one is in my human feelings. And according to these two sources, what human beings are experiencing in this world, the outside world demonstrates that at the text clearly stated, this universe is, or this existence altogether is so wonderful. So, for example, whatever the hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of different kinds of animate beings, for example, it is more obvious, explicit in the life of the animate beings that the needs are met to a certain extent. Sometimes some difficulties, hardship, but mostly mostly they are really recognized when they are given. Very rarely, though, we don't experience what we always expect to have it in our life. But mostly, as far as the existential side of us is concerned, there is a compatibility between the needs of the creatures and the provisions to satisfy these needs. There is a compatibility. When it comes to the human beings, we have feelings, and these feelings desire much more perfect than what we are experiencing. For example, I personally desire that there should be no difficulties in my life, because this feeling is given to me. This is with me. So, and also, I shouldn't suffer from anything, and particularly from annihilation, because as far as I see, I'm going to die and everything will finish. As far as the sources of the information which are available for us is concerned, I am seeing that whatever I feel doesn't matter. There is a contradiction between my feelings and the reality of death or transience in general. I don't want to get old, but I am already old, experiencing it. So being between these two opposite information sources of information, for me, universe says you are going to die. My body says you are going to die. My feelings say no. I don't want to suffer. I want only the perfection. Everything is perfect. What shall I do? Human history tells us that most of the people who reflect on this reality of existence, they came up with the conclusion that your desires are made up. It is not natural, it is nurtured. It means you learn from the society. But surprisingly, 7 billion people now in the world have the same desire. Now, everybody is learning from the society, but why do I have this feeling within me? I don't want anything harmful to me. I don't want anything hurting me. So this human endeavor to find out the solution find themselves in a conflict. Why? Although that is what I need, although my body needs are completely met, but my human side, my desires, my feelings are left orphan, if you like, orphan. So all the, it reminded me the chain of philosophers who don't pay attention to the message that, as it is described here, the noble commander. It means there is a man. There are men, but in every age and in every place, there is a man who says, no, no, I want, this is my feeling, I want eternity, and I see that the universe witnesses its source is eternal, because all the wonderful things are happening at once and continuously renewing themselves. And they claim that this wonderful existence cannot happen haphazardly, randomly. It is a wise design, and there is no source in this world. So I need, and then he brings the news to me that there is an source and origin, which really I was excited with the comment made by Miriam, pointing to this paragraph saying that we need to become acquainted with the source and origin of the existence of this wonderful universe, but contradicting my human feelings. Otherwise, it is wonderful. Human feelings say, I don't want to die, and what is outside? No, you are going to die. So I say, what is going on as far as the origin of my existence is concerned? Then these people say, or this noble commander, which is described, a noble commander of humankind, not the commander of an army. It means representing humankind, human beings. So this commander says, yes, there is an origin. Yes, there is a source of these feelings, and definitely through creating these feelings, he is promising that he can do it, and universe and the existence of your feelings witness to this reality. So let us go and us all together and say, yeah, we too want. So he draws our attention to the fact that this universe has a source origin, and this origin, by giving me the desire for perfection, for continuation, the permanence of the beauty and satisfaction eternally, because I want eternal. I don't want it to happen within a certain limited time period.
Brother Ali, we don't hear you. Probably your connection is dropped or weak.
I say, look, if it is possible, why not to make it another 100? That is very interesting. When it comes to the point that we are going to lose our expectations, and we are not going to be satisfied with what we really, as human beings, expect, aspire in reality, within our reality, we say, okay, I don't want to lose it. But the reality out there, the universe shows that you are going to die. But at the same time, this noble commander, or the messenger, actually, messengers of God, brings the news from the origin of the universe and says, you must turn to me and ask me, or present your supplications to me, that you can give it to me, and acknowledge me. When you acknowledge the origin of the creation, your feelings start feeling satisfied. Yeah, the origin can do it. Why not? Why do I live in an unsolvable contradiction in my life? Here is the reality out there, everything is transient. Here is another reality within myself. I want permanence, not transience. Then I can solve the problem now by listening to the message of the representative of humankind. I wouldn't say the most noble commander, I would say representative, for example, speaking on behalf of human nature, representing the news he was given from the creator of the universe, origin of the universe, that I am here. Just direct your feelings to me. So that is why the necessity of the eternal existence after this creation first is really true, and it is really, there is a necessity for me. And the second is it is going to help. The third is the origin of this universe is under the witnessing of the universe tells me that, and the witnessing of my human side as well, tells me, informs me that he will do it. That is why I understand that there must be resurrection. It means a renewal of the creation according to the expectations of human desire. But it is important, these human feelings must be prepared, educated accordingly, so that we will be ready to receive this good news that all our expectations will be completed and satisfied. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair. This was a beautiful reflection and comment. Just to recap, I think this contradiction, Ali Marmar, you mentioned about the human being having endless needs and not being satisfied with transience, but yet the nature of this universe not satisfying it, is actually a beautiful contradiction, because through it I get to do a lot. I find the solution to this dilemma of the human being, where I take notice of the message that is brought from the representative of humankind, from the creator of the universe, that, you know, there must be a renewal of existence or a necessity of resurrection. Otherwise, I don't know what to do with my existence here. And this whole, I think, expressing out of the human condition is also a way for us to direct all our feelings to the same source of existence. Alhamdulillah, thank you for that comment. And I see there is a comment from Mashid Turner on the chat. Mashid, if you want to read out your comment, and sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, feel free to do that.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Just this sentence, it says, those sent to this field of trial will not then be left to their own devices. Palaces of bliss or dungeons await them. And I was wondering, this also does it just pertain to the next world, or does it apply also to this world, that we are actually not left to our own devices, and even in this world we may get a taste of bliss or hardship? So that was the question. Thank you.
Great question. Thank you for bringing this up. So what comes to my mind is just like a coin. Coin has two different sides. So everything that I'm experiencing is happening right now within my vicinity. And so I use these experiences as sign pointing to that which my human side yearn for. And so here I'm going to take in some points that Brother Ali also mentioned about how most of our needs are met, and perhaps some of them, you know, may not be met as far as our expectations are concerned. But however, within our human side, we have this yearning for eternal satisfaction in everything. And so that need also cannot be left to its own device. And so I'm experiencing that need right now, here and now, this need of despising transience and wanting to connect my existence to an eternal realm, eternal source, eternal bliss, or whatever I may call. And so this need cannot be left to its own device right now. And so I use this because it becomes like a contradiction. It's the human condition, but it's beautiful because through it I look for a solution. Through it I make use of the resources available here. And just as we mentioned about the representative of the humankind speaking on behalf of the creator of the universe, is letting us know exactly what our designer or our source of origin is telling us. So it's really telling us that we are not, like you said, left to our own devices. We're not being wasted. I'm wasted if I don't connect my existence to an absolute source. But this existence definitely is a sign for me to read. And this existence is a sign pointing to this absolute one that has brought me into existence and that is taking me on through this journey of trial and error, or whatever we may call, like the author is saying, this field of trial. And so I'm not here left to my own devices. Otherwise, my existence would be meaningless. So thank you for your comments. It made me reflect further on this. So Ali Murmur, go ahead, please.
Now, I know we are out of time, but since it was an interesting question, this question, I would appreciate the question and say something about it as my comment. Now, in general, in principle, in existence, none of us is left alone in this world. I agree. But as earlier mentioned, the universe says you are going to die. And my soul, my feelings say, no, I don't want to be annihilated. Even I don't want to lose my pleasure, my enjoyment of existence, nothing. So there is something lacking here, missing. Why? Because my expectations are not met here as far as my witnessing of my soul is concerned, desires of my soul is concerned. Well, this seems to be not satisfied. But the origin of the universe is so aware of what he has done. He knows that he must know that he created me because he is my creator. Come on, he is the maker of my being. So he knows that I need this. That is by way of sending the message through messengers. He also satisfies by giving the news that definitely you are not going to be annihilated, you are going to be resurrected. So human beings, only after paying attention to the message of the messengers, then understand that, oh, I'm not left on my own and I am not left as an orphan in this world, suffering from not being really satisfied with my existence, because it is unbearable for any human being. But the human beings only find out one way to say that, okay, this is made up story. The human soul, human desires are artificial, just learned afterwards, and just they denied my reality. Here I am. I want everything perfect. No one told me that you need perfect because of this you have to develop your feelings. No, I'm experiencing within my own self, and I'm sure every one of us, if they turn to their own feelings, own soul, as their human side, not the body side only, but human side, I understand that everybody is expected to understand. I don't know who denies it. Even the most notorious denial of the message of the messengers. If you just try to harm them, they wouldn't let you do that because they don't want to be harmed. They want their health, their healthy body to continue as healthy as they desire. That's why we try to escape from any deadly situations in the world. We don't want to die. We run away from death. Even the most notorious enemy of the messages and the messengers they try this to run away from losing any values that they have already given or they have already had. Thank you. I think this is a beautiful, that's why it, beautiful comment. That's why I want to complete that. This sentence is correct. We are not left alone with the condition taken into consideration that the creator, originator of the universe takes care of this need, which seems to be unsatisfied, by sending the message through messengers and making them feel sure that all their desires definitely must be satisfied and will be satisfied. That is the beauty of the fact that if we pay attention to messengers, we find nothing but our reality. Doesn't contradict anything. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Ali, for I think a good conclusion about this topic that we're discussing. So with this, I think next week, inshallah, let's pick up from the 6th aspect. Thank you all for coming in and joining us, sharing your comments. That's really what makes the discussion more fruitful. Inshallah, see you all next time. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save except that which you've taught us. Indeed, you are all knowledgeable, all wise. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati sirra surat al-Fatiha. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Alaikum salam. See you on Monday.
Assalamualaikum, everyone. Thank you for the discussion. Jazakallah.
Thank you for your reading and comments, Mariam and Raya.
Thank you.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. عليكم السلام. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله. طاهرة. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله. Assalamu alaikum. I am also leaving the meeting.